So again, we write the expression in standard form, which is a plus bi. So again, notice how we have a complex number multiplied by a complex number now. So again, if you want to use a box as an organizer, the first complex number can go -12 and an I here, and on the top have a -12 and a negative I on top. Then I can just do this partition like so. So as I multiply this all out, we have -12 times -12, which is 144. We have a -12 times a negative I, which is going to be a positive 12i. And we have an I times -12, which we actually write as -12 times I. And then we have an I times negative I squared. I'm sorry, I times negative I, which would be a negative I squared. So as we move through this, the one thing we have to pick up on is this I squared, again, represents a -1. So what we're actually doing is taking the opposite of a -1. So what we have then is this 144. So we'll go ahead and just put, so the opposite of -1 is actually going to equal 1. So that's actually what's going to be, what we're going to be needing is this actually. So as we move forward, notice that the 144 can actually be added to the 1. This actually will give us 145. And notice that 12i and -12i, that's a zero pair. They're actually going to zero out. So the only thing we really have is actually a real number. Okay, so 145 would be our answer. Notice this is a difference of squares too. So remember, if you have a minus b times a plus b, the formula says all you got to do is square the a and square the b and put a subtraction sign between them like that. So if I was using the difference of squares formula, we have -12 plus I, -12 minus I. Notice how we have a -12 times -12, which is 144. And then the b is the I times I is I squared. So it's going to be 1 minus 144 minus the I squared. But remember, I squared is a -1. So that's going to be 144 take away -1, which actually means 144 plus 1, which in turn gives me a 145. So you can apply the difference of squares. So all you got to do is square the first term, square the second term, and put a subtraction sign between them. And then just simplify it from there. Now you can also put it in the calculator as a -12 plus I. And we can put a -12 minus I. Again, watch out between the negative sign and the minus sign when you do that. Notice how it gives me this 145 plus 0i. So, but again, the 0i, I believe you can just drop it off, since 0i just really just means there's nothing there. So you can try that in MyLab and see if you have to have 0i there or not. That's always a little confusing for me. So to me, I would just leave it as 145, but it does say both parts. So experiment and see which one MyLab likes there.